And hello everyone. Welcome or welcome back. Subscribers quickly dwindling, but I appreciate anybody checking it out, tuning in. Thank you very much. Why the funny shirt this week? Sort of a funny crossroads in my life, if you will. I know it doesn't translate to the camera very well, so there you go. My internal expression coming out. You ever wear a shirt that didn't feel like that morning and so you took it off, or how you wanted the day to turn up, right? So never to be worn again, perhaps, but there it is. If you haven't already thought about making fun of my outfit, I beat you to it. What else? Lots to cover this week, but more importantly, how are we doing? That would be number one. You'll notice I probably am remembering this every week to check in on us because, it's strange how this could be such a disconnect if you're, let's say my subscribers this week went back down to where they always were. That would be me talking to practically just myself in the mirror, right? Not to get into it all over again. But, so if you're doing okay, then that's great. If you're alive, that's good. That's good. If you're, preserving your, self-preservation in terms of if you're preserving your not getting sadness, for lack of a better way of putting it, then good for you, and I'm trying to do such myself. I mean, do I need to update you? I haven't. Let's get this over with in one sentence. I haven't gone out there yet. Last week I got sick, meaning the whole entirety of the last 6-7 days I've been resting. You could probably hear it in my voice. Fixed the audio problems, so that's nice. Figured out finally on my music making software or audio program, or both, that there's a tiny little knob that you're supposed to turn, and I must have accidentally turned it to double the gain or volume at one point, and oops. So that's nice. Don't have to worry about audio problems, and in a sort of a good mood about that. That means our lighting, our audio, everything is up to snuff in my opinion. I'd like to think so. Moving forward. Things to talk about this week, besides, we covered all of our how are we's, right? Yeah, so besides the obvious, I don't know, I'd like to start out with the most important stuff. Let's see. Heard a fascinating quote this week, actually was the week before, but it's interesting how somebody so intelligent will say something and he'll just pass it by on his little podcast there. I'm talking about Ricky Gervais again. I know how he pronounces his last name. Anyway, and sorry guys, I took 2 ibuprofens. I should probably, as far as my mood, I feel like I'm perky and upbeat and whatnot. But I may just be numb inside. I have no idea. But anyway, he said boasting, everything is a hidden boast about boasting. So it's interesting because I'm trying to fly through some of these, and we could talk about that too. Since my subscriber count has gone down to 20% of what I originally thought was amazing, this would be a decent subject to finally cover. I've had it on the shelf for a week or two. But everything is a hidden boast, meaning everything you hear out of everybody's mouth, for the most part, is a trying to, and women are the best at this. As they get older faster or they mature faster, you might even call this maturity all in of itself. But the lack of I'm trying to impress somebody is the exemplification of your stance being I don't need anybody else to navigate my world with me. It's funny how that makes them attractive. No, I would think, when a girl comes, a female, opposite sex, whatever, comes at you with some of their accomplishments or things they've done, or they're trying to intimidate you with something or other, it's never really the right mix of potion to attack with for them, meaning it doesn't generally, intimidating a man doesn't generally, well, see, you can see how it's not going to work even if it works, right? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've just been doing my best to not step on anybody's toes and yet stepping on everybody's toes. I can't point it out myself. I don't know where I would have gone wrong, but it's interesting for sure. I came up with an interesting concept this week and I wanted to share. It's about the end of the animals. I don't want to try and sound so lectury here, but I don't know how to segue into it. But essentially all animals are, this is, most biologists or whatever would call this a mass extinction event, even though the decline of most animal species started maybe in the 50s or something, in the 20s or something like that. The Industrial Revolution, maybe. But our habitat, slow habitat destruction is what I was going to say, is perfect. It perfectly fits the human ape species to a T in terms of what is our personality. And what I think we're doing is, it should be talked about, and I'm here on my little bullhorn announcing it as loud as I can. I don't know where else I would go for this. I suppose you can comment on videos or send DMs through Twitter or something, but I think what we're doing is we're killing our next closest ancestor on the, what do you call it? What do you call that? It's a tree of, what's the word? Evolution, the evolutionary tree. Is that a word? A phrase or whatever? I touch my nose when I'm nervous. I think we're trying to kill off what we hate in ourselves in the chimpanzee. And that means that bonobos will get a pass as long as they stay on their little island. They don't become too successful is what I mean. A little bit of anthropology covered here in this one. But I promise to keep these episodes short from now on, as I've been saying. And I think that's you guys. I think that's you guys voting for shorter podcasts. What do I mean by slow habitat destruction before we get into that stuff? I think it's our tendency to be passive-aggressive that the other two of our distant cousins, closest cousins, I should probably say, don't really have. They don't really practice it that much. Passive aggression, am I right? I mean, I like a true, aggressive, this is what I think. I almost don't care what you say unless you have something to say. I may listen, but I may not care in the end. I like that sort of stance, as long as it's not overbearing or whatever. But humans are the best at this passive stuff, right? So we will, Nobody's going to stop us. We will do it to ourselves. PETA be damned, and all these WCF organizations and stuff be damned. And to some extent, I can't imagine how they're not helping, even if just in their personal lives behind their work. As I said, everything has a tendency to head towards irony, or maybe even if I'm offending too many people, because these are certainly the people I love here, come full circle. So if I'm helping too many people by donating, I might be an asshole in my personal life. You know, I like to think that we're trying to balance our lives in such a manner every day, until we die, and hopefully everybody's cool with us. We didn't take up too much room, right? I don't know. I mean, certainly how I feel. But yeah, where was I going? In terms of the shorter podcasts, funny segue, meaning definitely ironic and clunky. But my inspiration to do a 30-minute podcast was just that most people are doing 1 hour, and people that I admire are doing 1 hour. And for me, that seems a little too much, meaning I don't have that much to say. I certainly shouldn't have that much to say every week. And so keeping it down to cutting it in half probably would have been doable. And that is something certainly that I could have done possibly. But I don't want to have to do 30 minutes. Nobody should necessarily. Hopefully you're getting out there and you're talking to people, and by that I mean strangers, not just family and possibly friends. So yeah, I think basically, and at this point we're already thinking about wrapping up. Gosh, I had a lot to cover, but yeah, I think you get where I'm going. Let's just cover the topics, okay? But thanks to you guys, I've been trying to stay on top of things, and maybe I should have been more casual or more instinctual about making fun of you when you subscribe to me. Like I said, I've come around to believing that nobody should necessarily follow anybody. This has a lot to do with whether I really care about having a social media presence. But people following you, that's cute and fun. But if I should have followers, maybe I should start with my family following me, then friends following me, and then the general public following me, or something. I mean, let's have a natural sort of slide into... It just doesn't seem very natural to be following people you don't know. If you haven't met them, you haven't had a kind or somewhat decent or neutral conversation, then why follow somebody, right? I don't know if neutral even passes in that example there. But anyway, okay, I wanted to cover a bunch of topics before we left, and it looks like we're already about headed out of here. So let's just go over the notes real quick and then bounce, okay? But overall, I hope you're having a good week, and I would like to argue that I am so myself. We have this segment called Last Week's Episode, or What Happened During Last Week's Episode, and all that didn't happen is I didn't realize when I mentioned... So yeah, maybe I should have come up with something funny about the Bill Cosby commentary. But maybe that would make it worth sharing an opinion, right? But I definitely slipped up when mentioning that I didn't remember Harvey Weinstein's name. And I looked up his stuff, and apparently right before the global outbreak that recently happened occurred, this man was sentenced to 23 years in prison, something I completely forgot about. I bet majority of y'all forgot about it, because all of a sudden we were tackling a huge problem. So I'll bet I probably heard about it and knew about it, but definitely I could say is a good chance I forgot about it. And the next big thing coming at you so quickly like that is definitely going to knock out the last thing that just happened in your brain, if you ask me. No time to sit and think about it, right? Last I remembered, he was wandering around in malls and being spotted or something. Didn't really want to cover that very much, but oh, we only have one more thing to cover, and then yay, I'll let you guys go, is what I mean. I like doing this, and I'm so happy that I'm doing it in such an odd outfit, but promise not to do it again. My joke of the week is not sort of a line with a punch, or it doesn't have anything like that, but if I could read it to you, well, maybe not. That sort of ruined the last couple, right? But the hot new fashion being, I've been going out there and I've just been either wearing a hat or not, but not caring about what happened to my hair. You could argue that this is also because I was sick, but a little bit before that too, meaning a week or two or even 3. Just sometimes going out there not caring, it's sort of that bedhead look, and I realized that that could definitely be the new look for probably what is good for about the next 6 months. You have your chance, guys. You can go out there with bedhead, maybe a little bit of raggedy clothes, and I think the bar doesn't have to be the doorman, but for a bar actually is what I mean. But the doorman for any restaurants or anything, I think the doorman should be a little more kind on us. It doesn't mean shorts and flip-flops or anything like that, but anyway. All right, guys, it was fun. It was so fun for me. Happy to be back. Looking forward to a big week in terms of getting to work and stuff like that. But from now on, I'm not necessarily going to talk about my future unless it's to help influence yours, such as I did there. It's been wonderful, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you had a good week, but also I hope you enjoyed. And have a great next week. Toodles. I don't know how to leave here more pleasantly. I should look at my subscriber count, and hopefully that's not back at what it was when I started, right? Well, we're about to find out, but I'll leave you with an I love you, especially if you love me. Cheers.